You got your tinnitus rating, 10%, and somebody told you that's the max. But here's what they didn't tell you. Tinnitus can act as the anchor point that opens the door to secondary claims the VA will pay you separately for. Conditions that most veterans are living with right now that have ratings 2, 3, and 5 times higher. Today I'm breaking down 7 of them, what they pay, and what exactly you need to file each one. My name is Jacob Shannon, Army veteran and a benefits specialist here at VetClaims.ai. Before we get into the list, you need to understand the mechanic. Under 38 CFR 3.310, if a service-connected condition causes or aggravates another condition, that second condition gets its own separate rating. Tinnitus qualifies. That ringing isn't just an annoyance, it's physically and psychologically damaging your body across multiple systems right now. Every one of those systems has a diagnostic code. Every one of those codes has a rating attached to it. Let's go through them. Number 1, anxiety and depression, and that can get up to 100%, but the most common rating being 70%. Studies show that between 48 and 78% of veterans with severe tinnitus develop some sort of anxiety, mental health issue, or behavioral disorders. That's not a coincidence, that's cause and effect. Your brain never gets silence, it's running on a threat signal 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with no off switch. That constant state of alert burns out your nervous system and wrecks your mental health over time. Now here's the critical filing note. You cannot stack separate mental health ratings. If you already have PTSD, service-connected, or mental health, do not file anxiety as a new secondary condition. File for an increase on your existing mental health rating and document how the tinnitus is making it worse. If you have no mental health rating at all, file anxiety or depression secondary to tinnitus. What you need is a diagnosis, a personal statement that connects your mood changes, sleep withdrawal, and social isolation directly to the ringing, and a Nexus letter. Number 2, insomnia and sleep disorders can also get up to 100%, but more commonly you'd rather land at a 30 or a 50%. Here's something every veteran with tinnitus already knows but hasn't filed for. The ringing gets louder at night. The quieter the room, the more your brain locks onto that signal. Sleep becomes a war you're losing every night, and that's a rateable condition. Insomnia isn't rated on its own scale. It falls under the general rating formula for mental disorders, which means the VA rates it based on how much it damages your social and occupational functioning. An important note also, if you have a mental health rating already, insomnia would just be combined into that diagnosis and would not be its own rating. Your personal statement needs to connect the dots. The tinnitus keeps you awake, the lost sleep costs you at work, and it's straining your relationships. Don't just describe the symptom, describe what it's taking from your life. What you need: a diagnosis, documented sleep history, a personal statement connecting your tinnitus to your insomnia and its impact on work and relationships, and a Nexus letter. Number 3 is sleep apnea. You can get up to 100%, but realistically, most vets are going for that 50%, the requirement for having a CPAP. This is the one most veterans walk right past. Tinnitus-driven sleep disruption doesn't just leave you tired, it breaks down your sleep architecture over time. That breakdown increases your risk of developing obstructive sleep apnea. And if you need a CPAP machine to manage it, that alone qualifies you for the 50%. That's over $1,100 a month added on top of what you're already getting. The connection between tinnitus-related insomnia and sleep apnea is supported in medical research, and a strong Nexus letter can make that bridge for the VA. What you need is a sleep study, CPAP documentation if you're already using one, and a Nexus letter that explicitly connects the tinnitus-driven sleep disruption to the apnea diagnosis. Number 4 is migraines, up to 50%. Your auditory system and your brain's pain pathways are connected. When your auditory system is constantly misfiring, which is exactly what tinnitus is, that neural activity can trigger tension headaches and full migraines. The Board of Veterans Appeals has granted migraines secondary to tinnitus many times. The key word you need to know going in is prostrating. That means a migraine so severe you have to stop everything and lie down. Monthly prostrating attacks get you 30%. Frequent attacks severe enough to affect your ability to work or economic inadaptability get you up to 50%. What you need is a migraine diary, logging the date, duration, severity, and what you had to stop doing, a formal diagnosis, and a Nexus letter. Number 5 is vertigo and balance problems. You can get up to 30%. Your inner ear controls 2 things: hearing and balance. The same damage that caused your tinnitus can knock out the vestibular system, responsible for keeping you upright. Dizziness, staggering, disorientation, those are rateable under diagnostic code 6204. If you're grabbing walls when you stand up too fast or losing your footing on uneven ground, that's not just getting older, that's a separate claim. What you need is a vestibular disorder diagnosis, a personal statement documenting when the balance problem started relative to your tinnitus, and a Nexus letter. Number 6 is Meniere's disease, up to 100%. If you have tinnitus, vertigo, and fluctuating hearing loss together, stop and pay attention. That cluster of symptoms may actually be Meniere's disease, which is rated separately under diagnostic code 6205. The 100% criteria requires vertigo attacks more than once a week with cerebellar gait, meaning you're staggering when you walk.
Cerebellar.
Yeah, I got it right. Nice. Cool. One important rule, do not combine a Meniere's rating with separate tinnitus and vertigo ratings. Rate whichever approach gives you the higher number. What you need, a formal Meniere's diagnosis, a frequency log of your vertigo attacks, and a Nexus letter. Number 7 is hearing loss. You can get 0 to 100%. Most veterans file tinnitus and never file hearing loss separately. They assume the VA already looked at their ears. They didn't. Not for this. Tinnitus and hearing loss are different conditions, different diagnostic codes, and different checks. Even a 0% service connection matters because it locks in the condition. So when your hearing worsens, you're already in the system. What you need is an audiogram, a formal diagnosis, and your DD-214, showing your MOS and noise exposure history. Protect your beachhead. Now before you start stacking these claims, hear me out. Filing secondaries can trigger a C&P exam, and a C&P exam can put your existing 10% rating back under review. Make sure your tinnitus documentation is tight before you move. Consistent symptoms on record, personal statement is current, and medical records up to date. That 10% isn't the end of the road, it's the key that opens everything else. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video, and if you need help with your rating, go visit VetClaims.ai to get the rating you deserve.